Welcome back to the channel and episode 6 of the engine removal. Things are starting to really hot up now. We've got the lift in place, pretty much everything's detached. So I'm hoping by the end of the week we'll have the engine out and on a stand right here. Okay, looking at attaching the lift to the engine. So I can see over the back there is a lifting hook about here, and that looks straightforward. Obviously my lift has got these sort of brackets on the end of the chain, so I don't know how to attach that, but we'll come to that in a second. Then around the front side, I believe I lift on off of that bracket there. Again, my chains have got these sort of angle brackets which don't really help. They're also not very long, so I've just popped out and picked up these. Right, so they're the biggest ones I could get. There's no weight rating, but I mean they're big, so that should be fine. And 5 meters of this cable, this chain, which obviously 5 meters is too much. I need about 1 meter, but I figure, well, I can just angle grind it to the right length if I need to. If not, I'll just keep it the same length. So I'm going to do that now. Get this set up so that's at least not really taking the weight, but at least doing something, and then we can talk about undoing the engine mounts. Right, okay, that's that side attached. This side I can attach and worry about cut the chain in a second perhaps. Well, I'll probably just do it now, might as well. Okay, I'll get the angle grinder. Okay, cut through that pretty easily. There she is. If you had to see this, if I just refocus you. There she is. Not actually that bad looking. We've got these pipes here that had all corroded off. The pipework just snapped, but you can hear it. It's definitely a pump. I'll put that in the box. I need to read online and just double confirm that I do lift on this. But it's going to look like that, isn't it? Pretty much. Okay, I've whipped the timing belt cover off because I'm worried that the chain's going to crack it as I lift, which wouldn't be very pretty. Just another thing to replace. The actual timing belt looks pretty good. Obviously I need a new one now, but it looks like that hasn't done that many miles probably. It's the teeth are very sharp on it. It's quite thick. Doesn't look like it's worn at all. Most of the engine feels like things have been undone, so I suspect that someone was recommissioning the engine before it went off the road for the period it was off, for like a couple of years, and they perhaps did the timing belt and some other things, but each thing I come to I notice that the bolts aren't done up that tight, which kind of implies that someone's had it undone recently. Try to give you a good look because it's important that you lift on the right bit, if I am lifting on the right bit. So I've got sort of a U-shaped clamp going underneath, and then, which is one of, I've used them all now, it sort of goes underneath and through this bit of bracket sticks out, and then the 2 chains loop through it. That goes up to the load leveler, across. So the ones I bought are 2 of these, but mine are much thicker than that. Down and then down in there, you can see my what I'm lifting on there actually. You can see the U-shaped clamp. There's actually like a proper bracket that you lift off of there. On the other side it feels a lot more like, it's just the, you can see it there, it's just sort of the bit that the air pump was attached to. But I assume it's okay. So deep in there is the one of the bolts to undo the bell housing. A lot of people moan about getting on that, but again, another gift from my father that I thought, why, at the time, is a ratchet spanner that is the perfect shape. Look at it. It just fits in there perfectly. I can't really do it one-handed, but you can see how easy it is with this. It's exactly the right shape. I have to film it. It's almost like it's made for the job. It's just impossible to get in there with anything else, but this has got just the right shape to sort of squeeze in between all the pipes and everything to the back of the bell housing. Okay, so ignore everything I've said so far about lifting off of that bracket. That is a bad idea apparently. The actual lifting hook should be, if I can get it in camera view, should be there, bang centre. There's a bolt just there. It should be attached to that and should just be a normal sort of like a loop, but it's been removed on my car for some reason. But fortunately someone's going to post me up one today, so that'll arrive and we can attach that and lift it properly. Ironically then I can go back to the lifting chains that came with the lift and didn't need to buy all that extra thick chaining I bought down there. About £50 in chaining, but never mind. So then we come to a tip I've been given to undo the crank bolt before I take the engine out. That's obviously really tight, so I need to get on that properly. If I try and turn it now, it turns the whole engine over, so I need something to lock it. And they make a tool which I found called a flywheel locking tool. That actually came with the car, this one. But it doesn't fit the car, it seems. Also, when it does fit, it actually fits into the lower bell housing like that. It sort of slots through and locks onto the starter motor ring, you know, that you use to start the car. All of mine has been disassembled, so I need to put all that back together, fit the tool, and then undo the nut. Again, my tool doesn't work. That was in the boot of the car. So his friend's also posting one of these up as well. So hopefully that'll fit, because his car's a different year to mine anyway. But assuming that fits, I'll fit all this back on, get the starter motor ring back in place, put all the nuts in, tighten that up, and then I can try and undo the crank bolt. Obviously another challenge while doing this at home is space. Obviously I've got the 928 sitting there, but I've got this 911 sitting here, which I'm desperate not to scratch, and I keep taking it out backwards and forwards while I do stuff in the garage. Most recently I took it out while I was building the crane, if you remember, but it decided to snow, and that's left this sort of residue. If I zoom you in, you might be able to see it. Residue on the car, dirt on the car, which means I can't put the car cover back on it now, so I'm kind of stuck with the car there until I get a chance to wash it, which I don't really like, because I lay under the 928 quite often and my feet are dangling out and kicking around, and I'm worried I'm going to scratch it. But as soon as I can, I'll get it back outside, wash it, clean it, put the car cover back on, and it's safe here. But ultimately I may end up shipping it over to a friend's garage just for storage for a couple of months while I work on the engine. Alternatively, I thought about taking the engine out, rolling the 928 back out onto the driveway. I can pop it on. I've got plenty of room out there. I can pop a cover on it, and just sort of leave it sitting there. And then I've got the whole garage here to work on the engine, which might actually be a more sensible plan. One thing I didn't video was I whipped the alternator off, which just pops in underneath the power steering pump about here. A friend came over and we were chatting, and while we were chatting, I thought I'd take it off. That'll make it easier getting the engine out, but I'm probably, while I'm waiting for this tool to arrive, I'll probably take out the power steering pump, because if you just look down like that, you can see it's really close to this edge. It's probably safer just to whip that off now while I'm waiting. Exciting parcel. This should be the engine lift, front engine lift mount bracket thing, whatever you want to call it, oops. And the flywheel locking tool set up by a friend. Right, which is exactly like the other. So that, well, I'll put them on in a second, you can see where they go. Okay, yeah, you can see they're the two tools. So mine is that one, this is the one that's just been sent up. And that does actually fit, the holes do line up nicely. So that will fit in there. If you can see, the holes do line up. Mine is just too big, I don't know what model that's for. That's going to be an eBay job, I think. So that go on there, and depressingly that means I need to reassemble everything, get all that back together, put the bell housing bolts all back in, then I can have a go at undoing the crank bolt. Okay, so looking at replacing the lower bell housing so we can do this whole flywheel locking tool in there. I'm going to take off the starter motor because it's heavy and I don't see any point. It's held in by Allen key bolts, Allen head bolts, so I'm just cleaning them out a little bit just to allow the tool to get in there properly, because you can guarantee they're going to be stuck in pretty tight. It's really tight getting in there actually. I don't know if I can get my socket doesn't really go in there. Let's try doing just this one side and it goes in there a bit easier. Still not really. Okay, I might need a different tool for that. Let me have a look. Okay, I've got no tool here that's going to get on that. So what I'm going to do is just got some of the loose dirt. I'm going to douse it in my special penetrating oil, which is acetone and automatic transmission fluid, which I read somewhere that it's really good penetrating oil. So I'll do both sides and then I'll let it sit while I order a tool. I just can't squeeze that in. It just hits the starter motor there, and if I don't get it in properly, I know it will round off that bolt. So what I can do though is that I can still fit it on the car. It's got that, which is just a bit heavier, but that's fine. So attach that. Then we can put the locking tool in. I need to put the bolts back in the bell housing, which I'll do now. So when I try and turn the crank, the bell housing is attached, static, because this is attached to the bell housing. And then hopefully we can try and get that crank bolt undone. See that? That is the lower bell housing reinstalled. Probably the hardest job I've done so far, just due to the laying on your back under a car, lifting up the starter motor, and bell housing is really heavy. I used a axle stand to try and support it, but even so, it's taken me about half an hour to get the bolts in. I've just done it all up, sort of nipped it up. It's not super tight, but you looking in the inspection hatch there, you can see the flywheel now, the I think it's really a starter motor ring, and I can just attach the locking tool in there. I've tried it in, all fits, and that should stop the engine from turning, so then I can do the crank bolt. So we're there. So the other thing that arrived was the engine mount, which is that. Goes into a bolt just in here, which I've already taken out. I'm going to pop a little bit of copper grease on it, just so it's a little bit easier next time if I ever need to get it out. But it'll also stop it corroding in. Which way around are we doing this? Go that way around. Okay. So that can go in there. So it's 17mm bolt. So just start it by hand and quickly crank that in. And then we can lift it properly. It's good. A lot safer that way. I think, oops, make sure it's straight. I think what I'm going to do is like always, a never-ending story. There's a few more little bits to do. I think I'm going to wrap this video up so that we can spend an entire video on the lift itself. I don't want to end up rushing that. It's going to be quite a long video, I think, getting that out. So yeah, let's end this video now, and then I'll carry on. I mean, it's Thursday today. I'm planning on taking the engine out tomorrow and Saturday, so I'll probably end up releasing 2 videos this week, even potentially. So thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, and tune in a few days for the actual engine coming out.